4 years was not enough for Diddy?
This week got real messy for Diddy, no joke. For a quick recap, things did not go his way at all. His $100 million lawsuit completely tossed out by a judge, just like that. On top of that, his appeal has been sitting there for 17 days straight with zero response, no movement, nothing. And every update that dropped this week only made the situation look worse, not better at all. This is Bad Boy Weekly, and we're breaking down everything that went down in Diddy's case this week. There are 5 major stories to get through, and each one adds more pressure. So let's get into it. For some quick background, we're not diving deep into who Diddy is. You already know the deal. That story's been told a million times. Story 1 is the big one. Diddy's $100 million lawsuit just got completely shut down. Back in January 2025, a streaming platform called Peacock released a documentary titled Diddy, The Making of a Bad Boy. Now here's where it gets interesting. The film dropped just 4 months after Diddy was federally indicted, and that timing raised a lot of eyebrows. The documentary didn't hold back either. It featured some heavy claims. A singer named Al B. Sure went on camera and suggested that Kim Porter, Diddy's ex and the mother of his children, might have been involved in something serious. Then former bodyguard Gene Deal stepped in and hinted that Diddy might have had a connection to Biggie's 1997 killing. That's the kind of talk that grabs attention fast and puts everything under a spotlight. Heavy stuff, no way around it. So Diddy's legal team came out swinging in February 2025. He filed a massive $100 million lawsuit against NBC Universal, the company behind Peacock. His lawyer argued the network tossed basic journalism standards out the window and tried to frame him like some kind of criminal mastermind without solid proof. They claimed the documentary pushed damaging accusations about harm involving people close to him, calling it malicious and deeply destructive. Now here's where it really takes a turn. On April 21st, 2026, this week, New York Supreme Court Judge Federal Perry Bond shut the whole case down, completely dismissed it, gone, just like that. And the reason she gave? It hit hard. She basically said the documentary couldn't damage Diddy's reputation because, in her view, that reputation had already taken serious hits long before the film even dropped. Think about everything that was already out in public before that documentary ever aired. There was the Cassie Hotel incident video showing a physical altercation in a hallway. There were dozens of lawsuits tied to serious allegations, non-stop negative headlines, and even a federal criminal indictment hanging over everything.
4 years was not. No, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like it.
You think that's a fair sentence for Diddy?
It seemed fair.
Really? I feel like a lot of people were like, damn, only 4 years? That much baby oil in only 4 years?
All of that was already circulating before a single scene from the documentary hit the screen. The judge also made it clear the film wasn't just pushing one side. It included Kim Porter's autopsy report stating she passed from pneumonia. It also featured statements from her family saying there was no foul play involved. On top of that, the documentary acknowledged potential biases from the people interviewed. In other words, the judge felt like the doc actually did its research instead of just throwing claims around. NBC Universal's lawyer didn't hold back, calling the festival a big win for journalists and filmmakers everywhere. Meanwhile, Diddy's team stayed completely silent. No comment, nothing at all. The court looked at the full picture and basically said you can't sue someone for damaging your reputation when that damage was already out there. A $100 million lawsuit completely dismissed just like that. Now let's move to story 2, because things are shifting behind the scenes. While the lawsuit drama was grabbing headlines, something else was happening a lot quieter, and it caught plenty of people off guard. Diddy is reportedly getting ready to push back against Lil Rod, and this situation is serious. You might remember Rodney Jones, also known as Lil Rod. Back in February 2024, he filed a $30 million lawsuit against Diddy, and the claims were heavy. He alleged that Diddy tried to pressure him into inappropriate situations by offering money and industry opportunities as leverage. On top of that, he accused him of sexual assault, harassment, and even drugging. When that lawsuit first dropped, Diddy's attorney Erica Wolf wasted no time firing back. She called the entire case pure fiction and a shameless attempt to grab headlines and push for a fast payout. She made it very clear, saying Lil Rod was never threatened, never groomed, never assaulted, and never trafficked. Now here's where things start to shift. In March 2025, a judge dismissed 5 racketeering-related claims from Lil Rod's lawsuit. That was a rare courtroom win for Diddy, and it removed some of the most serious accusations from the case. But even with that, the situation is far from over, and the tension around this story is still building. Fast forward to April 15th, 2026, and things take another sharp turn. All Hip Hop dropped a report saying Diddy's legal team is now getting ready to fire back with counterclaims against Lil Rod. They're pointing to what they call recent conduct and facts that have come to light. And here's the key detail. Those counterclaims are set to be filed by June 30th.
Well, because I think we wanted to charge him for the shit that we have seen. And that's not what he was in court for. He was in court for prostitution at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can only be convicted of what you're charged for.
So they took it seemed like where it was going to go for the charge.
It just I think a lot of people want to see some sort of penalty for a video of him beating the shit out of Cassie. You know what I'm saying?
Which is totally
sense,
understandable.
Yeah.
I think some of that time he got was because the judge saw that video, and yeah, you're not just getting away scot-free.
2026. That means this situation is flipping, with Diddy moving from defense mode straight into offense. That's a major shift, no question. And of course, Jaguar Wright had something to say about it. When Lil Rod first filed his lawsuit in 2024, she raised a tough question. She basically asked, if someone knew the kind of environment they were stepping into, why go at all? Why not just say no? Now that's a complicated issue, and people see it very differently depending on their perspective. There are a lot of layers to situations like that, and it's not something with a simple answer. What's clear though is this case is nowhere near finished, and Diddy isn't just sitting around. He's actively planning his next move. Now let's get into story 3, because this one takes a different tone, and it's honestly kind of wild. TMZ reported this on April 10th. Diddy owns a massive mansion in Holmby Hills, one of the most expensive neighborhoods in Los Angeles. And his neighbors, they are seriously on edge about the idea of him returning if his appeal actually works out. But here's the twist. It's not just about him, Lichno. The concern is everything that could come with him if he ends up back at that property. The attention, the activity, the spotlight, it's got people in that neighborhood talking, and not in a calm way. Now picture this for a second. Media trucks lined up outside, paparazzi camping on the street, reporters going live at 2 a.m. It turns into a full circus overnight. For people who drop millions just to have peace, quiet, and privacy, that kind of chaos is a nightmare scenario. But here's the part that really stands out. Right now, Diddy's twin daughters and their aunt are the only ones living in that house. And neighbors have had zero issues with them. No complaints, no drama, nothing. Reports say the kids were respectful, even giving a heads up before small gatherings. Everything stayed calm and under control. The concern isn't about them at all, it's about what might happen if Diddy comes back. That possibility alone has people on edge. In fact, it's gotten so serious that real estate agents showing homes in that area are now legally required to tell potential buyers that Diddy owns property nearby. If they leave that out, they could actually face lawsuits for hiding something that might affect a home's value. Think about that for a second. His name showing up in real estate disclosures like some kind of warning label. That's the level this situation has reached, and it's raising eyebrows everywhere. Now moving into story 4, because this is what everyone's really watching. The appeal. It's been 17 days since the April 9th hearing. 3 judges sat through about 2 hours of arguments, and still, no decision has been announced. Before jumping to conclusions though, this kind of silence isn't unusual. Federal appeals don't usually get decided right after arguments. It can take weeks, even months, before a ruling comes out, and that's completely normal. Legal experts are already saying a decision could land sometime before the end of summer 2026, so nothing too out of the ordinary just yet. But what really matters is something one of the judges said during that hearing, and that moment might end up being more important than the silence itself. Judge William Nardini didn't sugarcoat it at all. He called this case an exceptionally difficult one. Not simple, not obvious, difficult. That choice of words says a lot. It shows these judges aren't just going through the motions, they're really digging into every detail and weighing it carefully. This isn't some quick rubber stamp decision. This is a serious legal battle playing out behind closed doors. Now let's talk numbers, because they matter here more than ever. The typical sentence for a Mann Act violation, the charge Diddy was actually convicted of, is usually around 15 months. But Diddy? He got hit with 50 months. That's way above the norm. And here's another key point. He's already served 19 months, which means he's already done more time than a lot of people convicted of the same charge ever do. So, when that ruling finally drops, there are only 3 ways this can go. First, the conviction gets overturned and he walks free immediately. Second, the sentence gets reduced to time served. Again, that means he's out. Third, the appeal gets denied completely, and he stays locked up until April 2028. That's it. No extra options, no hidden outcomes, just those 3 paths. And right now, Nobody knows which one is coming. Now on to story 5, the current status, because this is where everything stands right now. Let's break it down like a weekly scorecard. As of this week, Diddy is being held at FCI Fort Dix in New Jersey. Inside the facility, he's been working as a chaplain's assistant in a drug treatment unit. His official release date is set for April 15th, 2028, but even that has already shifted slightly. Thanks to prison credits, it's been moved up by 10 days, which shows how even small details are still changing in real time. So yeah, the clock is ticking, but it's moving real slow.
But what?
I'm not just letting you out.
But he's past statute of limitations on that, or like how does that work with an assault?
We got to ask an attorney, and I don't know.
What about Tory Lanez?
What about him?
He's in jail for shooting Megan Thee Stallion in the foot, allegedly. That whole thing seemed like messy. No, like I agree. A lot of different rumors, like new information that's come out. He tried to appeal.
Now let's look at the few wins on Diddy's side this week, because there are some. His legal team is getting those counterclaims ready against Lil Rod, with a deadline set for June 30th, so they're clearly not backing down. The appeal also hasn't been denied yet, and at this stage, that silence is actually not bad news. On top of that, his release date keeps inching forward bit by bit thanks to those prison credits, and every day counts. But the losses, they hit harder this week, no question. That $100 million lawsuit got shut down completely. No room for debate. The judge made it clear that his reputation had already taken major damage long before the documentary even came out, which undercut his entire argument. And now it's gone even further. His name is showing up in real estate disclosures in his own neighborhood like something buyers have to be warned about. That's a different level of impact, and it's not looking good at all. Now, story 6, and this is where things get even more tense. Everyone's watching what happens next because the pressure is stacking from all sides. Legal experts are starting to read between the lines of that appeal hearing, and some believe the judge's questions hinted at real doubts about parts of the case. That doesn't guarantee anything, but it shows this decision is not locked in yet. At the same time, public attention isn't slowing down. It's actually getting louder. Every update, every delay, every small shift is getting picked apart online and in the media. That kind of spotlight can shape how the whole situation is viewed, even outside the courtroom. And behind the scenes, both sides are clearly getting ready for a long fight. With counterclaims coming, lawsuits still active, and that appeal decision hanging in the air, this situation could swing in multiple directions fast. One ruling could change everything overnight. Right now, everything feels like it's on pause, but it's the kind of pause where something big is building. The next move, it's going to matter more than anything we've seen so far. Now, story 7, and this one is all about what happens next behind closed doors. Because while the headlines focus on court dates and rulings, there's a whole strategy game playing out that most people don't see. Lawyers on both sides are lining things up carefully, timing every move, every filing, every response. One small decision here could shift the entire direction of the case. Diddy's team especially seems to be thinking long-term, preparing counterclaims, waiting on the appeal, and staying active even while he's locked up. That's not sluchino. That's calculated. They're not just reacting. They're planning ahead, trying to regain control of the narrative step by step. At the same time, the other side isn't backing off either. Lawsuits are still active, allegations are still being pushed, and there's no sign of this slowing down anytime soon. So what you've got right now is a legal standoff, building quietly but intensely. No final answers yet, no clear winner, but the tension, it's only getting stronger, and the next development could flip everything fast. Now, story 8, and this is where everything comes together. The big picture right now is messy, unpredictable, and still unfolding in real time. You've got a dismissed $100 million lawsuit, an appeal sitting in limbo, counterclaims on the way, and multiple legal battles still active. Nothing about this situation is settled, not even close. What makes this even more intense is how fast things can flip. One court decision, one filing, one unexpected move, and the entire narrative could change overnight. That's why people are watching so closely, because this isn't just about what's already happened, it's about what's coming next. At the same time, the public spotlight isn't going anywhere. Media coverage, online discussions, and constant updates are keeping this story alive every single day. That kind of attention adds even more pressure to an already high-stakes situation. Right now, everything feels like it's building toward a major moment. No clear ending yet, no final outcome. But one thing is certain, this story is far from finished, and the next chapter could hit hard. Now, story 9, and this is the part people can't stop talking about. The uncertainty is what's really driving everything right now. Nobody, not the public, not the media, not even insiders, has a clear answer on how this is all going to end. And that unknown factor is what keeps the tension high every single day. You've got legal pressure coming from multiple directions, decisions still pending, and new moves being prepared behind the scenes. It's like everything is stacking up at once, just waiting for one trigger to set it off. And when that moment comes, it's not going to be small, it's going to shift everything fast. What makes this even more intense is how divided opinions are. Some people think the situation could turn in his favor. Others believe the damage is already too deep to recover from. That split keeps the conversation loud and non-stop. Right now, all eyes are locked in, watching for the next update. Because when it drops, it won't just add to the story, it could completely change it. Now, story 10, and this is where everything stands as of right now. No final faisla, no clear outcome, just a situation that's still unfolding day by day. The appeal is still pending, the counterclaims are on the way, and multiple legal battles are still active at the same time. Nothing has fully settled, and that's what makes this so unpredictable. At the center of it all, you've got a timeline that could shift at any moment. A court decision could drop, new filings could hit, or fresh details could come out and change how everything is viewed. That kind of uncertainty keeps the pressure high and the attention locked in. And while all this is happening, the spotlight isn't fading at all. Every move is being watched, every update gets picked apart, and the conversation just keeps getting louder. Right now, this story is still in motion, still building, and still far from over. Whatever happens next, it's going to hit big and change the direction completely. Now story 11, and this is the part that really shows how unpredictable everything has become. There's no clean timeline, no clear roadmap, just constant movement and shifting pieces. One day it looks like things might lean one way, the next day it feels completely different. That kind of back and forth keeps everyone guessing. Behind the scenes, legal teams are staying sharp, watching every detail and reacting fast to any change. Nothing is being taken lightly here, because even the smallest development could have a big impact. That's how tight this situation is right now. At the same time, the outside noise keeps growing louder. Media coverage, online debates, and non-stop speculation are adding even more intensity to an already high-pressure situation. It's not slowing down, it's building. Right now, all of this feels like it's leading up to a major turning point. No final word yet, no clear resolution. But when that moment hits, it's going to shift everything in a big way. Now story 12, and this is where the tension really locks in. At this point, it's not just about what's already happened, it's about what could drop at any moment. One decision, one filing, one neo-scrutiny move, and everything flips fast. That's the kind of pressure sitting on this situation right now. You've got an appeal still hanging in the balance, counterclaims getting lined up, and multiple legal fights still active all at once. Nothing is resolved, nothing is quiet, it's all building behind the scenes. And the longer that silence lasts, the more intense the ojidanya becomes. What makes it even more wild is how every small update turns into a big headline. Even a delay or a minor detail gets amplified, keeping the spotlight locked in place. There's no cooling off period here. It's constant attention, constant speculation. Right now, everything feels like it's right on the edge. No outcome yet, no final answer. But the moment something finally drops, it's going to hit hard and change the whole direction instantly. What's next? We're still waiting on that appeal decision, and it could drop any time before August. That's the moment everyone's watching. On top of that, the Lil Rod counterclaims are expected to be filed in June, and multiple civil cases, including the Jonathan Hay lawsuit, are still moving closer to trial. Nothing is slowing down, everything is stacking up fast. And if we're being real, this week did not go in Sean Combs' favor at all. The setbacks hit hard, and the pressure just keeps building. But the craziest part, the biggest decision of all is still hanging in the air, waiting to drop and change everything in one move. If you've been keeping up with this, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is far from over, and it's only getting more intense.